Do a little intro.
A little intro to me?
Yeah.
To the just top of the head being cut off at Keith Hernandez.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think you need... Because I don't ever think I got the story about that, so if you want to go ahead and...
No, his very quick story is don't ever give away really nice collectible items at Citi Field and also serve beer at the same time, because it's going to come back with either a head broken off. I have the Ron Darling one that has its hand cut
so
off.
this was just drunk travel.
Yeah, I'm not good at protecting valuables. I'm garbage at it.
All right, we'll give it another minute or two.
Okay, all right. Lively crowd. Morgana, she just kissed me.
The kissing bandit.
Yeah, she steals your hearts. She steals a kiss. She runs out.
Todd, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for giving us the audio check.
Oh, without even asking.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, our regular viewers know now.
yeah, they know that we're gonna kind of softball into with these headphones. It'd be nice if we had Shure microphones that everybody sent us, or anything. That'd be great.
She's just rubbing those boobies on men.
Yeah, she's well endowed. So it's Wednesday. It's episode 9. We've gotten this far in episode 9. We're more than halfway through the stack that we originally came with and expanded on with a couple more packs. I thought this was a good kind of middle run here, where we got to the 1986 Topps card set. I think I mentioned in the last episode, this is a pretty cool one, pretty near and dear to my collector memories. 86 is the best year in the history of baseball. Mets, I'll still stand by that being a great year in baseball, Mets or otherwise. And so many colorful characters, so many kind of new players that were on the horizon. Speaking of that, Matt, what do we got in the? What are we looking for?
So, according to Michael's list here, first of all, 35 cents per pack at the time in 1986.
Stupid cheap.
Stupid
cheap.
The cards that Mike's looking for, they're that he had a specific that specifically you had your eye on, were Eric Davis, Ryan Sandberg, Keith Hernandez, George Brett, and the final season Pete Rose card. Although you're not that big of a Pete Rose guy, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was his final player card. I think it was he was a player manager for the Reds in '86, so it had the kind of player manager. I also think they put some special ones out in the set too. Rookies, I think there was a Bonds rookie that was maybe in the traded series, but not in the regular series.
Mean, there was a couple of rookies that were part of that set. I don't think there was any that were too crazy, because usually we'll put something up.
Oh yeah. I don't really. Again, I think this was more or less about the guys that were in the second year of establishment, and then the guys that were veterans and all-stars. And future Hall of
Matt was
Fame.
asking if that's the player manager card.
I think the Pete Rose is the player manager card.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as I could be wrong. Listen, Pete Rose is a piece of garbage. So, but I think it was the front of the card had Reds, and it was him sitting in the dugout, and then there was the emblem at the bottom was first base -MGR.
I'm sorry, just over your shoulder, it was a bunch of topless pictures of her, and then
okay, well, I don't
her during Kingpin.
Oh yeah. Morgana was a cameo.
That reference was over my head for 20-something years
until
I just saw it now.
Here you go. Anyway, enough with Morgana.
Yes,
into the card pack here, and yes, boys and girls, we've got us some. Ooh.
Oh, that gum.
Pieces of gum. This. This.
It was a piece of gum.
This sort of crumbled on us. We didn't expect it to trash like that.
Folks, this is why you don't eat the gum out of this.
Yeah,
out of these
just let him take a look at the gum in that.
It came apart in
all
3 different pieces.
Crumble Boyd. Very stiff. As per usual. Very stiff gum. All right.
That's what she said.
Let's go through this. Rest in peace. First guy off the top. Passed away, not of COVID-19, but of whatever natural causes. Tony Fernandez recently passed away. Multi-time All-Star. A great fielder for our friends to the north in Toronto. I remember Tony Fernandez eventually becoming a Met, as everybody is wont to do in the 90s.
Just flipped it and everybody's staring at my beard.
All right, we're back
There
in.
we go.
We're back in. But yeah, Tony Fernandez was a pretty good player. Not necessarily Hall of Fame stature. I think it was bombarded with some injuries, middle part and later part of his career. But rest in peace, Tony Fernandez. Some of us miss you. Moving right along here, the next guy up is Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Von Hayes.
That's a name that sounds familiar to me. I think me and you may have talked about him.
I talk about Von Hayes a lot. Von Hayes was a hated Philadelphia Philly, but certainly a pretty great bat, a pretty exciting ball player. Wiry, lanky. Long arms, could go over the fence to take one back. So Von Hayes, a pivotal Philadelphia Philly, my friends. All right, here we go. Texas Rangers third baseman, maybe a rookie card, but not a lot of value in this one. We've got Steve Buechele, third baseman. As we like to do, I think Steve Buechele is on the shorter side. So we're going to categorize him in the scrappy player category.
Height check.
And height check on a Steve Buechele. I'm going to go short. I'm going to go about 5'8". No.
6'2".
6'2". All right.
Normal sized man.
He's a normal sized man. He's not a pocket sized man. I'll take offense to that at some point.
I'm 5'8", so
well,
I'm 5'9",
that would make
whatever,
him a normal sized man. You're saying that he's normal.
Right, he would be. Well, let's say for baseball players,
6'2".
For a baseball
normal
player,
size for an athlete. Yeah, that's an athlete normal size. All right. Well, so again, we like Steve Buechele. He was a good player for his
new
time.
idea. If we're gonna do a height check, we want to get some guesses from the fans as well.
Oh well. Sure, yeah.
They're chiming in as I see it.
Okay, with their own height guesses?
Yeah.
Well, see, that's... All right. Later on the pack, we'll pick somebody and we'll tear them apart when it comes to their size. We're not going to do that for Al Pardo. We've got enough to nail Al Pardo to the tree on. First of all, being dirt boring, being the maybe the third in command after Rick Dempsey retired. It was like, who else were catchers for the? There was eventually, I think Terry Kennedy was a catcher for the Orioles. I think Mickey Tettleton. There were some better guys, and then way down here there was an Al Pardo, not to be confused with not his uncle or grandfather Don Pardo, who was the Saturday Night Live.
If you could see the comments like that, it's so funny because like the reference is made
and right, yeah. Well, it's everybody. Great minds think alike. Another great mind and another great pitcher, in my opinion. 1986 Met. This is before he did get traded to the Mets early in that year. This is Bob Ojeda, everybody. Bob Ojeda, nice thin boy mustache on Bob Ojeda.
It's a pretty good mustache, though.
Pretty good. Did we get Bob Ojeda in another pack?
I
either that or I talk about Bob Ojeda a lot. Because Bob Ojeda,
there was it may have been Ojeda, but remember I was asking you to ramble off the pitchers in the rotation for the Red Sox. It was either this year or maybe the year before.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But Bobby was pretty great for the Mets in '86. Thanks, Boston. Thanks for giving him to us.
I gotta tell you,
enjoy Calvin Schiraldi in exchange for that.
The comment section is on fire today.
That's great. Yeah. Bob Ojeda also lost the tip of his finger in a gardening accident. I didn't even need to look at the comments on that. Ruined his career. Also ruined giving the middle finger to people. Look, there he is. Oh, God. 4 different frames of Charlie Hustle. Listen, I've said this before when we had another, off-brand Pete Rose card. He was great. All-time leading hitter. The epitome of the quintessential scrappy ball player. Scrappy athlete. There's enough accolades that people have said he belongs in the Hall of Fame. He belongs in this. I'm not a big Pete Rose fan. I think he deserved to be suspended in the way that he did. I think he's a black eye on baseball for what he did at betting.
Black eye.
No, black eye. No. Tony Fernandez was a black eye on baseball. In baseball. All right. Stop making me do that. Here's a guy. I recently learned that this is Detroit Tigers first baseman / outfielder / DH Darrell Evans. Long in the tooth in his career. He'd been playing for a long time. But little known fact, he is, and I learned this recently. He was 1989 Mr. Billfish.
What does that mean?
Well, what that means is Steve Garvey, another person that's like a potential Hall of Famer, also with a terrible haircut, also a diminutive first baseman. He used to host a celebrity fishing tournament in Hawaii during the off season, and he would invite all of his stupid friends for fans of cheap seats, right. Without Ron Parker, but with the Sklar brothers. You'll probably remember the episodes where Steve Garvey and his friends went bill fishing, or they had their celebrity golf tournaments or whatever, cockamamie stuff that he would do. But he would have a bill fishing or marlin catching tournament, and the one year that was on TV, the year before they had mentioned, Darrell Evans was Mr. Billfish 1989. So this was just before he was Mr. Billfish 89.
He made his baseball debut in 1969.
1969. Oh, so
at this point he had been playing for 19 years.
20 years to
15 years.
Yeah, 14 or 15 years. Long career. Good home run hitter. But from now on, from 2020 on, I will know him as Mr. Billfish.
Manager?
A manager, yeah. I mean, I snub my nose at the manager cards because they're a waste. John McNamara took the Boston Red Sox to the World Series in 1986. Again, I see that he's wearing what looks like a windbreaker underneath his jersey. Pointy collars on that gentleman.
It looks like Charlie's grandfather from Willy Wonka. Factory.
Well, that's, that dude did not, he slept in a bed with 700 people. So, if he doesn't have the coronavirus, nobody does. But John McNamara, what can be said about a manager card that I haven't already said? I hate them. I hate getting a manager's card. It's you just stuff it in the middle of the pack. Anyway,
this stupid thing.
We're like hot on the presses of that one. You've got spring fever baseball. Catch it while you can, everybody. Enter to win. I'm sure they're not taking any more reservations for that spring training.
Yeah, it's so important. I'm holding it upside down on the camera.
Are you? Well,
I did at one point.
Okay, all right. So yes, we've got spring training fever here, or it's just basically it's spring fever. So, and hey, speaking of other fever-related synonyms, here's Wayne Gross, third baseman. Kind of journeyman guy. Played for a bunch of teams. I think it was a Dodger, was a Philly, or maybe I'm thinking of Greg Gross, who was his brother. But there was a lot of Gross players, or Gross brothers, in Major League Baseball.
Pete Rose is a gross player.
Yeah, he's a gross
Human.
He's a gross human.
He played for the A's
Wayne
from
Gross.
76 to 83 before the Orioles.
I'm sure he was a starter for the Orioles. Like, look up his stats. You might get, you might pull something out of there like, oh, he hit a double in a rainstorm once, and Rick Dempsey slid across in his underpants. Hooray for Hollywood. Hey, Yankee fans, Tim Stoddard, former Yankee. We've seen Tim Stoddard before in these packs. I believe the 1987.
He is going right on Mustache
he's
Mountain.
He's a mustache carrier, a common carrier of the mustache.
That is a great mustache.
I know, yeah. Just a face full of whiskers on Tim Stoddard. Again, he was a Yankee later or earlier in his career. Was he a Yankee before this?
White Sox, Orioles, and Cubs.
Oh, quintessential.
Here we go.
Journeyman.
The official,
are we doing
the official
size?
height check.
Height check.
Everybody get your guesses in.
Pitchers are tough.
Tim Stoddard, height check.
Tim Stoddard. Some of these Yankee fans that watch this stream on a regular basis, and you know who you are. The Ron Hineses, the Mike Corbys, the Chris Bechtolts, the Todd Cohens, the Mike Munezes. You know who you are. I know you know Tim Stoddard's height. I'm going to guess that Tim Stoddard's a tall guy. I'm going to give Tim Stoddard 6'4".
6'4". Mike has 6'6". Ron has 6'4". Todd has 6'2". I'll give one more guess up here before we give you. If anybody else is going to guess. Marianne said 5'9". Everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
And everybody undershot his height. He is 6'7".
Wow. Wow, a super giant. 6'7"?
6'7".
Woo.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's almost in Randy Johnson.
He is. I say this many times about tall people. They're the worst kind of people. But it's that's some tall cotton to strut in. Just get it away. Just get it away from me. Jackie Moore was the manager of the Oakland A's before Tony La Russa was the manager of the Oakland A's.
Also, to the chat's point,
the manager cards are the worst.
Corby won Price is Right rules because he was closest without going over.
Hey, it's good that Corby bought this pack of cards too.
Yes.
By the way,
yes.
So,
thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And Tim Stoddard 6'7", and Jackie Moore card. The less said, the better. Boy, we're really hitting the. This is some mud that we're trudging through. Carl Best. Yep. Carl Best.
Was he the best at nothing?
He was the best at being Carl Best in 1986. I don't know a thing about him. I think we can just move on. He's got a great uniform.
Ooh.
That's what I will say.
Born in the hometown of the people's or the planet's champion, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, Aberdeen, Washington.
Yes.
Ah.
Also, basically a career minor leaguer.
Of course.
He had only been called up 2 years, 78 to 85. Three stints in the majors.
3 stints in the majors. Not a lot to write home about Carl Best, but we do like the Mariners uniform from the 80s.
Is that the
I actually like the Mariners uniform.
Logo?
Yeah, it actually was that trident.
Yes.
Trident tip.
That trident
boom.
That's one of my favorite logos.
I'm doing this for the purposes.
This kind of
is it a trident or is it that?
This kind of thing.
It's a kid show. It's a kid show. Anyway, former St. Louis Cardinal or future St. Louis Cardinal, former St. Louis Cardinal, former Philadelphia Philly, Lonnie Smith, outfielder, super speedy outfielder.
That name rings a bell with me.
It does. Lonnie Smith won a few world championships, or at least went to a few World Series in his time. A great base runner, a good outfielder. Probably would have been a contemporary of Rickey Henderson, just not as fast as Rickey Henderson, because Lord knows nobody can be as fast as Rickey Henderson. But would sort of be in the same conversations of what guys do you have on your team that could do this, run first to third really quickly,
in 1982,
cover a lot of ground in center.
He scored 120 runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he had 68 stolen bases and batted .307.
In 3 seasons you probably couldn't have 68 stolen bases in current Major League Baseball. And that's not even touching what Ricky could do.
Right.
So...
also, he had his first in-the-park home run in 1982.
Awesome. Any guy that you could tout that there's an inside-the-park home run on their resume...
Oh, yeah.
Upper echelon. There should be a Hall of Fame of just inside-the-park home run guys.
Corby also... probably why I remember the name. Corby said Lonnie Smith was an all-star in Atlanta, so...
Later in his career.
I believe so.
After this. Probably.
Played in the World Series with 4 different teams.
Might have gotten busted for drugs, too.
That could be it.
Might have gotten busted for drugs.
That would make more sense as to why I knew him.
Willie Wilson certainly got busted for drugs. This isn't Willie Wilson. This is Tim Wallach. Tim Wallach was a good boy, a nice man, a good player, an underrated ball player, and certainly one of Canada's greatest athletes. Not born in Canada.
This is an all-star card.
It is an all-star card. Doesn't give it more value, just makes it a little bit cooler. But he was an all-star probably 85, 86. Really became like the face of the Montreal Expos when Gary Carter left and when Andre Dawson left. It really became like Tim Wallach's team. So dope hat, that Montreal Expos hat, top 5 hats in the history of baseball.
I love it. It was that tri-colored hat.
It's right? the best. Their logo's awesome.
So I'm going to show you this picture again, and it looks like Peyton Manning and Drew Brees' love child.
Oh, certainly. I can see the Drew Brees in his face.
Now, part of the interesting thing about
showing everybody or just showing me?
Well,
this isn't a show just for me.
Peyton Manning and Drew Brees' love child. Mm-hmm. The reason I had it turned around like this is because an interesting part of the All-Star cards is instead of having the All-Star stats on the back, they have
everybody's height.
The 1985 NL leaders in runs. I want to see.
Can I get any of the leaders in runs? Tim Raines.
Tim Raines was number 2 with 115 runs.
Number 2. Number 1, 1985 in runs. Willie McGee.
No, Willie McGee was number 3.
Number 3.
114.
Okay. All right. Does anybody in the chat want to take a guess at that one?
Who was the leader in runs for the National League in 1985?
It's getting real interactive, this show. This show's, it's really like morphing into something.
I like it.
Like an animal unto our own.
Fun today.
Well, hey, we have fun every day.
We're having fun.
We having fun yet? Who else would be up there in 85? I'm missing a Met. So it's got to be like a Keith Hernandez.
No Mets up there.
Sorry, dude. Anybody got a guess in the...
Somebody said Ozzy. Ozzy's not on there.
No, Ozzy was hitting 8th in that lineup, so...
Keith and Richie are here. They both said Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith. Well, Ozzie Smith isn't a bad choice, but
Willie McGee was already said.
Yes. So Willie McGee was 3.
I will tell you.
Is Wallach in there? Wallach has to be in there.
No.
So they have this stat on the back of his card, but he's not one of the guys.
Vince Coleman, George Guest is not number 1, but he is on the list.
Number 5, Vince Coleman.
People keep guessing Willie McGee, even though we're telling them.
Yeah.
Richie guessed Jacoby Ellsbury, so we might have to mute him from the chat.
Okay, that's great.
The answer at 118 runs was Dale Murphy.
Yeah, more systematic evidence that Dale Murphy should be in the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm gonna keep beating the drum on that one. Last card, everybody. Montreal Expos again. Shortstop Hubie Brooks. Former Met, traded for Gary Carter in the 1985 season. Hubie Brooks, not a Hall of Famer. Certainly not a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to even say that. But he was an All-Star. We like to tout the All-Stars a lot. Hubie Brooks was an All-Star as a Met and as an Expo. Again, a pretty solid line drive hitter. Good guy to have on your team. Certainly a fun name to say, Hubie Brooks. He was a Met in the same time frame as Hubie Brown was the coach of the Knicks. So as a kid, there was some sort of confusion, just marketplace confusion there. Like, why is the old guy that wears a suit, why is he playing shortstop for the Mets? I don't know. I made that up. It was stupid. Leader of the pack. I'm going with Tony Fernandez. No, don't pick up Pete Rose.
I totally did that on purpose.
I'm going with the late Tony Fernandez on this one.
I would agree.
It's not a lot of superstars, and Tim Wallach, I think, probably had the best career ultimately out of everybody. But I'd have to go, Matt, if you want to hold up Tony Fernandez again.
Sure.
As I just bow my head to the
great
repose of the soul of Tony Fernandez. Yeah, underrated is those sort of like afro puffs out of the side. So I guess that's a show. That does it for this one. Anybody who's got a quick bit? Oh, actually, you know what? The next pack that we're doing was a pack that was sent an extra pack that was sent by Todd.
Ooh, thank you, Todd.
A couple weeks ago. So we're going to be digging into the 1991 score set. This should be exciting because we liked the scorecards the last time for their color. So that should be good. We have to do some research and find out what's going on in this pack. But it's 91. We're bound to be.
That's tomorrow's.
That's tomorrow's pack. We're bound to be chasing Griffey's. If anybody wants to buy the pack ahead of time,
who bought this
feel free
one?
to do that. That's Corby. Michael Corby.
Thank you again,
captain.
Corby.
So that's about all that I've got for myself.
I think we should start using this. Hashtag anyone but Rose.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Anybody but Pete.
I love it. All
right. So for producer Matt, not for Pete Rose, for the disfigured Keith Hernandez, and as always, for our leader and spiritual master, the great Muta, I hope you all have a great night, and Benvenuto Morgana.